Hello there. I just wanted to go over a few important items as we get started in class. These are common items that you will find in most of the classes here at Georgia Military College, but I just wanted to put this together just to kind of cover some of those kind of housekeeping items that every student needs to know to be successful in just about any college course you have. So these are the things I'm going to cover. The drop and add, and how that works for the college classes here and for online classes here at GMC. Withdrawals, this is a good one. We are a textbook free class. Some of the free resources we have, and then the guidelines and tips that I have for you. So one of the things that needs to happen in order for you to maintain your presence in the course is establishing that class attendance. In the the first thing before you see week one, you will see this attendance requirement. And it's a quiz of things that you will find in the course, in the syllabus, and it will kind of trigger, once you get 100% on this quiz, it'll trigger the week one to be able to activate so you can see all the week one work. Promise you it is not difficult. You have unlimited attempts to achieve this score, and once you do that, then week one will open for you. It's just a way to kind of force you into looking at some of the requirements for the class. So easy peasy. So talking about attendance, let's look at online attendance. Obviously, it's a little bit different than it would be in a brick and mortar class or a traditional college class that meets right on campus. So we just begun just in the fall of 2024, where we've changed the attendance policy just a little bit. We used to have a policy that once you hit that 12-day mark, you were automatically withdrawn from the course. We don't have that policy anymore, but however, there are still some important things that you need to keep in mind in order to be successful in a college course. So you still need to attempt the participation in academic honesty verification quiz to avoid being dropped from the class. So that first little thing needs to be done before the drop date. Work is still due at the end of each week. This is an accelerated course. We do everything in 8 weeks. So it's important that you maintain your work habits throughout the week and meet those weekly deadlines. That is the expectation. Of course, sometimes students run into things that are beyond their control. We're talking about, very rare extenuating circumstances. So we do have a late policy that's approved by the college. So you want to make sure that you have accessed that and understand that because there are some guidelines and there are some things that cannot be accepted late. So please be sure to make sure that you understand that policy because that is really important. And that's the policy that's been accepted by the college and what we will follow in this class. You can request a withdrawal after the drop add date and up to 14 days before the end of the quarter. So you have a long time to decide if this course is going to work into your current schedule, and things happen, and that's why colleges have such a thing as a withdrawal, to be able to withdraw from the course without getting a failing grade. So obviously, if your goal is to complete the course successfully, you'll participate, submit your grade activity, and do that on a weekly basis. So all right, so what is the difference between drop and withdrawal? A drop means that within the first 4 days of the first 4 weekdays of the class, students can either add or drop from the course. Sometimes, things happen and students are adding late, so you have up until that 4th day. And other things, schedules change, and you also have the opportunity to drop before that 4th day after the start of the class. So a drop and add is done through your graduation coach, and that is also once you drop a course, it doesn't show on your transcript or anything. It's just like you were in and then you were out. So a withdrawal is a little bit different. So a withdrawal comes after the drop ad and up until that 14th day before the quarter officially ends. So that process you would need to go through me, and then you use your GMC email to clearly state that you need to withdraw from the class. And that would mean that it would still show up on your transcript, but it would be the grade of a W, which doesn't directly affect your GPA like an F would, but it may impact your financial aid. So it's always important that you are contacting your graduation coach before doing any of these kinds of decisions. All right. So textbook, this English class does not have a textbook. Yay! So everything that you need is already in here. You will find everything that you need in our course through the readings and resources or through the GMC library. So those two things are what you're going to be using for your research. Notice I didn't say Google, so we will not be using Google search in this course. Okay, so all required literary readings are linked. There's a reading preparation section, and it has them all nice and neat in a package. Some students like to print things out or be able to have that so you know what's coming up. Even though the courses are only open week by week, you can still be able to see all of the, we call them hard copies, but it's obviously a digital copy of all of the assigned readings for this course. And then as we go through the different weeks, there's going to be additional assigned readings and resources that are linked right directly into the module, and you'll have direct access to that. So again, no textbook. Everything is already included for you. So there are some resources for college students here at GMC. You have free tutoring, which is a great resource. I recommend everyone do that. Even if you think that you have everything under control, or if you think you don't have time, making the time to use the free tutoring can be very helpful. And it can also mean, the difference in a grade level. It can mean the difference between a C and a B, or a B and an A. Having that extra set of eyes is really suggested. I need an extra set of eyes on my own writing, so I always encourage students to do that. You do have access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to our GMC library, and we'll have some specific activities that you'll need to access the library. We have a dedicated online librarian, Ryan Taylor, who is amazing, and he can assist as well. And believe me when I say librarians love to help students research, because they do. Not only do they enjoy doing that, they also have the expertise because it's something that they do all the time. But within the library, there are resources that you cannot access through Google, even Google Scholar. Because the library pays for subscriptions to certain databases that are not available outside of an institution, because these are academic databases. So, and there's also lots of tips and videos in the library, and there's even a dedicated library guide for our course, and I'll be talking to you about that later. That directs you exactly what you need to do in the different databases that you need for our research essay. So all of the English courses that you take here already have embedded the how-to guide. It's for MLA formatting and citations. That is the style of writing that we do follow here in the English department. There are tutorials and MLA format and documentation, and it's linked right into our course. I'll also be talking about some online resources. So I guess there will be a couple things you could do online, like particularly the Purdue OWL, the Purdue OWL website is just kind of the gold standard of everything MLA. and other writing standards too, like Chicago or APA style. It has all of those, but particularly I will guide you to the Purdue OWL website to answer lots of questions. And of course, I'm here as a resource. I do, respond to emails within 24 hours, and my office hours are posted in the syllabus as well. Just keep in mind, if you're waiting till 10 o'clock on Sunday before a due date, it's very likely that I'm already in bed. So I may not be able to respond to those last minute things. So I encourage you to prepare yourself early in the week and look for any possible questions or things that you may need to reach out about, because half hour before assignments are due, I'm probably not going to be available. But the rest of the week, I'm usually responding much quicker than 24 hours. But just keep in mind of that. The only thing, so we don't have the textbook, which is great, but so everything is already linked in there. The literature is all linked in there. And to keep things focused, I ask students that we use those editions of the literature. Of course, you can do a Google search and find some of those, but I want you to everyone's on the same page that we're using those editions, because as you know, sometimes editions include things or don't include things. So if we're all on the same page and using citations from those that are linked in the course, that'll be great, because I will let you know that, if you're using, a different edition, I will gently guide you back to our course and remind you to use those citations. So everything's in there, and then you'll also, so the things that you'll be using to complete your assignments are the literature for the assigned reading. It's already included in the class. The resources that supplement those assigned reading and just kind of provide some other things. Sometimes throughout the week, I provide things in the civil discourse that help support what we're talking about, either if it's literary criticism or talking about the stories that we're reading or talking about the upcoming assignments. So those are things that I have found are really helpful, and expect that students would be able to use those to support what we're doing in class. And then, of course, you have the scholarly articles from the GMC library databases, which we will be using those in assignments. So you'll be able to do that. So the question is, I think I already have a resource that I would like to use. So that is fine. But you'll need to contact me ahead of time, because we've already given you everything that you're going to need. These are, well-known authors that we're reading. They're well-known stories, and lots of information is already available about them. So to keep everything kind of nice and succinct, and to also kind of force your hand at doing scholarly research, I'm going to ask that you've looked at the database, because you're pretty much going to find that. And again, we're going to remind you that the MLA formatting guide is in the class, and there's lots of resources. I know sometimes students get tripped up with if you're using APA in another course. I get it. But this is just one of those things in college that, to keep everything standardized in the English department, we do use MLA. All right. So the very first sentence on this slide, read the syllabus. And I could also put in there, read the assignment directions. Okay. These are the things that are going to support you. I love when students reach out with questions. Most of the time, they are found either in the syllabus or the assignment directions. I also post a lot of videos, so a lot of those questions will be found there. I'm so happy to answer questions, but I'm also going to guide you back, say, if you'll recall, in the syllabus. And that just helps you also for your peace of mind and your understanding. So reading the syllabus is not going to be something that you do once and you never look at again. It's going to be something that you want to keep looking at. Same thing with assignments. You're going to want to look at that several times. Read it through, try and get the idea. What's being asked, what are the requirements, what are the assigned readings, what are the different steps, and reading it through a couple of times and then reading it one more time before it gets submitted, because I hate when students miss valuable points on things that were covered in the assignment directions. So make sure that you're looking at the performance criteria. What is the percentages on the various assignments? Also paying particular attention to the ethics. We're in the world of AI that is changing constantly. But also know that your English professor here is also very aware, and it's also very obvious when students use it entirely. Are there instances to use it? Yes, and there's information in the course about AI. But copying and pasting the assignment directions and asking for a full, either for post for civil discourse or for an essay is painfully obvious. And I don't want to contact you about that, but that is considered academic dishonesty if you're using AI to write a whole essay. Not to mention very obvious. Making sure that you know the responsibilities as a student. It's also outlined my responsibilities as your teacher. Number one thing, civil discourse forum guidelines. Shoot for 100% on all of these. It is doable. Do them early in the week. It's setting you up for whatever writing assignments we have. But shoot for 100% in these. Most of the time students are missing this because they're not in the civil discourse as many times of the week as is minimally assigned, or they're not responding, or they're missing that initial deadline. So make it a goal right now that you're going to get 100%. The other thing that we use in several assignments here is the authentic servant leadership here at GMC. That is a college-wide effort to help you grow as students. But then, after you leave us at GMC, being a leader and a servant, or a servant leadership. But that source is in our class, and that is what you would need to do to support any of the writing assignments that you're being asked to use about that, not a Google search. All right, so that is everything I have. Please reach out with any questions. I am glad to help. I love hearing from students, and I look forward to seeing you in class.